I be the man that lasts in the suckers. I be the man that runs the suckers. You know you cocksuckers. I'm the man that's drinking the vanilla. Crown Royal feeling real smooth. Dude, attitudes be changing left and right. I ain't talking about nothing coming off the top of the brain. I'm feeling like insane podcast. Unpredictable like mystical. We doing that thing. We bang. Easy breezy. Back in Hawaii. Loving what I gotta do. Nigga, and you like me. Steve-O, huh? Alexandra. I don't wanna mess with anybody. Look, I'm the man in the game.
Yo, welcome to another episode of Unpredictable Thoughts Podcast. Your boy Trouble's in the building, doing the damn thing, not doing anything at all. I know y'all miss me, because I missed you too. I've been out, yo. For those that followed the journey, I switched over to the Army, so I finally did that. They got me in the bumfuck flats of Kansas, Fort Riley, Kansas. It's been a journey. It's different. It's very different. I don't know if your boy gonna survive, but I will survive. I want to give a shout out to everybody that supporting the movement. Keep that same energy. Sweatshirts, t-shirts, and all that good stuff. But you know what we're gonna talk about? We're gonna talk about this military life. This military life is very different. And coming into this generation, we are seeing a lot of things, and a lot of things happening, meaning we have progressiveness, but also we are still taking some steps back. So, and we all know the military, just like anything in life, it's all about information, right? It's always that one person that could be like, damn, I wasn't even thinking that. Let me go to that side, or let me do this. And I could do this and be straight, because it's not always about rank. It's not always about chasing rank. It's not always about a location. It's really about your happiness. And I think like with my generation and on down, maybe, Curtis, for those that have been following the podcast for a minute, AC, maybe his generation on down, he is a little older than me. Like, man, fuck that working for a corporation or organization for 20 years and being unhappy. I know somebody that's getting out at their 15-year mark, willingly getting out because they like, yo, this isn't for me anymore. I don't like it. Let it be. I chose to go back in because I like the lifestyle. The lifestyle is easy for me. It's some stuff that can, that needs to work on, but that's what any organization in general. Sorry, y'all, I'm drinking. I got a little old fashioned. The little old fashioned with the fashion. However, for somebody to give me some insight, we have Candice. Been following her for a minute on Instagram or whatnot. Sometimes I didn't even know she was in for the longest. Like, she a goddamn civilian. But kind of found out she is the reserve component on the Air Force. So shout out to all my Air Force and Space Force personnel that's doing anything. So yeah, we got Candice in the building. Introduce yourself. Let's get a little background on you.
Yeah. So what the first thing I'm gonna do is, let them know that you're not alone. I'm over here with my little drinky drink too. I'm gonna do some wine today though, because I got to do some homework after I get off of this podcast with you. I've been in the Air Force. It's going on 11 years now. I was prior active duty, stationed in North Texas, Shepherd Air Force Base. For those who know, yes, I got stationed there. And I've done all of my reserve time at Luke Air Force Base in Phoenix. And I've only been deployed once to Qatar. Yes, it's the limit. That's pretty much that. How long we been following each other?
I don't know. It's probably when you remember, what was that page, like Military GQ and like all them like military pages.
I did. Yep.
And it was post this and
They used to post stuff and follow people. Yeah, for sure, for sure. So I thought it was funny. You said that a lot of that I'm in the military, even when I was active duty, but that's the way kind of older. So I liked it that way. I preferred to keep it separate. I didn't want my government life to define me, and I didn't want my personal life to define me in uniform. So I think that's funny that you said that out loud.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be real. They want real from you, so hey, be real. So starting off, like, what made you go to the Air Force or just the military in general? It's a two-part question.
Gosh, all right. My story, I think, is a little funny. To be honest and transparent, the reason why I joined the Air Force, I'm from inner city Detroit. Right. And I was going to college at the time. I went to college straight out of high school, and I was actually struggling, trying to figure out what I was going to do for my sophomore year. Family situation, financial situation. I just didn't have that kind of support back then. Around the time I was figuring out what I wanted to do, I had a homegirl who didn't have a car, who needed a ride to an appointment, which turned out to be at a recruiter's office. And so I'm in the waiting room, waiting for her to do her thing. And all I hear, in the next office is such and such and such and such free education, such and such and such and such free rent. And I'm like, knock, 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 excuse me. What y'all in here talking about? So even funnier, we both took the ASVAB, and I passed and she didn't. And so the rest is history.
Yeah.
The reason why I switched from active duty to reserves is, quite frankly, when I actually got excited and invested in being a part of the military, traveling, those traveling experiences were really important to me. And at Shepherd, that training base, the hospital I worked in, we didn't have the capacity to PCS people in and out, which now that I'm, here makes, they just weren't like people. Shepherd is a place, if you get stationed at Shepherd, at least in medical, because that's medical and security forces, because that's who I talk to the most with security forces. Once you there. And I don't know why. I'm not kidding. Like everybody I knew active duty were like there. I'm not kidding. Everybody I met was there for like, oh, I've been here for 8 years. I'm going on my 10th year. And don't get me wrong, I met a few people who were happy with that. Because like I had a supervisor, I had a superintendent who had kids, by 10 years, your kids then grew up in school there. So not now they want to retire. They want to stay. But, active duty, you still don't really have a lot of control over that, But for me, young, ambitious, I wanted to see the world. It kind of bothered me, the PCS system. You had people who were married. You had people who had kids. You had brand new mothers who were, having to go places they didn't want to go. And I'm just like, I don't have no ties. I don't have like I'm here. I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? So
what's that Kevin Hart meme is like, nigga, help me help you.
Help me.
Help me.
So that frustrated me. And so at the time I spoke to a recruiter who pretty much was telling me that in the reserves, I would have more control over my movement. Now he was about 50% right, 50% wrong. But long story short, that's ultimately why I joined the reserves, is because I thought it was going to be the gateway to me actually like traveling. And when I was a senior airman, I was for it. Like I'm not gonna say I was like Captain America or nothing like that, but I really was passionate about, maximizing my experience in my career field. So I was ready to go. I was ready to get my hands dirty. And
what rank is that? Senior airman?
I'm sorry. That's an E4.
Okay. Yeah. You got some skin in the game already.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm ready. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be in charge. I was really, really ambitious, and active duty they did not tap into. They had a lot of potential out of me at that age, and they didn't tap into that at all.
Jeez. Okay. We could caveat so many ways into that. For real. Like that gem, and like the real word that you used was thought in that. And I just forgot where my thought process was going in that. Thought something.
Let's cheers for that. Let's cheers on that.
Cheers. Damn, I forgot what was my thought process on that. Well, you thought it was a certain process of going to the reserves, which you wound up finding out it wasn't. And do you kind of blame your recruiter for that because of the information they told you? Or sometimes we know, being in the game as long as we've been in, being out in the streets as far as like a billet, recruiting, drill instructor, XYZ versus like what's actually going on in the organization, it takes a long time for those two systems to meet.
Yeah.
So do you think that was the process or the problem with that? With you and your recruiter?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for saying a problem. Because I'm like, to place blame, I'ma always place blame on, I ain't gonna take it too high, but I'm gonna just say like organizational structure, because I feel like it's easy for me to want to hold recruiters accountable, because a recruiter, I believe in active duty and the reserves, is a special duty. So, you kind of went out of your way to say, I want to serve this purpose. And you've taken yourself out of the military bubble, and you've placed yourself purposefully, unless you're doing like internal recruitment, which to me is still a service to the people. You put yourself in the community and said that you would be a gateway of education, a gateway of like, people are making career decisions, people are making life decisions. And so the way I see it, yes, it's easy for me to put responsibility on the organization for not properly training these people, for not giving them the refreshing training that they need, or not putting them up with a mentor. Because what the military does a lot is take somebody with no experience for special duties, at least, at least in your career field, you got years of upgrade training and certs and all that stuff. Yeah. But to be honest, most special duties, you go to like a week or two school, you do like a computer-based training, and they're like, here, do this job. You know what I mean? You don't have no turn. The office you just took over been empty for 3 months. So you ain't got nobody to talk to. Nobody know the job. The files is locked on their cat card. And it ain't no paper binder of what they used to do. So I will sympathize with some recruiters, because I'm sure that they're probably doing the best that they can with what they've been given. But I'm also holding them accountable. The type of person that I am, if I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. Yeah. I don't care what it is. If I'm about to mop the floors, they about to be the shiniest, waxed up floors ever. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, if you're going to choose to take on a duty like that, where people are trusting the information that you're giving them to make life decisions for themselves and their families and career decisions, you need to not wait for the government or the military to teach you what to do, and like have some ambition and go outward and like make sure that you're doing a service to the people that are coming to you. With that being said, my recruiter didn't tell me shit. Like now that I know what I know, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, they did it, and I'm not gonna blame them, because he probably didn't know. I called, that one phone. Do y'all get one phone call at basic? That first one phone call.
Yeah, my mother ain't answer.
Like.
My mother ain't answer. I always hold that against that. Every time she didn't answer, it was like 3 a.m. She didn't answer like 3 times when I was in boot camp.
Oh, I heard some behind that. We gotta unpack that trauma a little bit later.
A little bit. Yeah.
You want to know how mad I was?
Go ahead.
I didn't call family on my first phone call. I called my recruiter.
You an OG like that?
I called my recruiter and I was like, so I forgot his name at this point. I'm like, Sergeant so-and-so. He's like, yes. I'm like, this is Candice. And he's like, huh? What? Did you make it to basic? Yeah, I'm at basic. This is not what you said. And and you told me that I was going to be able to do this. I went off on him. And then, the first phone call, they gave us like 30 seconds. So I got hung up in the middle of cussing him out. He thought it was the funniest thing ever. You know what I mean? So like, no, it's funny. It's funny now. But, I do not think that Candice was going to join anyway. I needed a place to go. I was getting kicked out of school. I have no money. I was going to join the military anyway. But there are a lot of people who and I just don't think that a lot of people are getting all of the information, or even if it's to even if it's information to like maximize your experience in the military.
Yeah.
I was in college. Think about that. My recruiter recruited me while I was in college. And not once did he say, maybe try to figure college out because in 2 more years, you can be an officer instead of enlisted.
Ooh.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think that's probably because like we know it's like quota based.
And that's true. That's true. But I also feel like entry level, you don't feel those quotas. You feel it. I feel like that's the easiest job. That's the easiest quota to fill because
Recruiting?
No. Filling up airmen, brand new airman slots. Like entry level recruiting. You're going to high school, like anybody in high school that ain't got nothing going on. Anybody that's having disciplinary problems at their house and their mama telling them you got to find something to do or get out. Anybody that tried college and don't like it. Anybody who is confused as to how to make money, they're joining the military. I'm not saying that it's like that quota is filled for them, but I'm sure if they went to enough high schools and built enough relationships with enough counselors, those counselors will feed those students to them. If they, you know what I'm saying?
It's all about relationship equity. But do you have, because it's a flip side to that as well, as like as far as being a recruiter, to where you're going through a process, because everyone's not like you or everyone's not like me, to where it's like, I knew I was going to join the military at 11. Like I knew it.
But guess what? But that wasn't me though. You see what I'm saying? Like mine was circumstances. Like, you know what I mean? And I think that there is a fewer demographic of people like you who are military families or ROTC brought up or whatever it may be. There really aren't that, much more people that are just, I just came here. I came here to check it out. And that's probably why retention is so small, because people came to check it out and nobody impressed upon them to stay in.
Yeah, well, I was going to also say, because we also got to take in consideration, it is a statistic-based number of when they're going through the recruiting process or whatnot, and they're, doing their paperwork, go to MEPS, and then after that, they get ghosted. Those recruiters get ghosted, or sometimes, they get ghosted by those kids never joining or going to another branch of service or going to another office.
I mean, that comes with the territory. It's a voluntary based organization. And again, we got to take, like, that's part of the quota is the problem. You know what I'm saying? Because these are people's lives, and they have the right to make a decision that's best for them. Not make a decision that's gonna serve your purpose. And I get it, because that recruiter that's not making their quota, their job is probably at risk, or they're probably getting LOCs, which I don't think should happen when you're in you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you can prove to me the hours that you went out into the community and the people you talked to and whatever the case may be, you shouldn't be getting in trouble for people making a choice.
Oh, you shouldn't be getting in trouble for people that's making a choice. That's the title of it. It might be one of the titles. Okay, got it. I'm gonna listen to it later. Damn. Okay. So what is one thing? Not one thing. What's a couple things from you going to active duty to the reserve side? You was like, oh, I ain't know this. That kind of hindered you in life, or that hinders anybody.
Okay. I don't know if I can formulate the answer in that way. What I will say,
best way you can.
Okay. The best things that I didn't consider or whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
To be honest, the structure just wasn't explained to me at all. So a traditional reservist is a person, like, there's a annual calendar schedule of your mandatory training days. You might hear people say weekend drill or UTA. Those are your 2 days mandatory every month of the year that you have to put in uniform and go do your duty. There's also 15 mandatory days of training. So I will say that came as a shock to me, the 15 days. And it might not seem like a big deal, like, oh, it's only 15 days. But when you're in school or those 15 days fall into, like, I left from active duty to civilian life. So I'm looking for jobs. and like I get a new job and now I got to take my own personal leave to do these 15 days, or I'm a single parent and I got to figure out what to do with my kid on these 15 days. Now that I'm acclimated, I've been in the reserves now for 8 years. It's like clockwork for me. But when you're not ready to do that, or you're not prepared that that's a requirement of you, it could be difficult to fit into your personal life. That was one thing.
I thought certain jobs, I thought like from the government, it's like some law or rule that like if you're active duty, like if you're in the military, they can't fire you or something like that.
Okay, so I think that you are referencing USERRA. That's the acronym. I don't know what it all stands for, but USERRA is some laws that pertain to civilian jobs and how they I guess like the treatment of military members. So for example, there are companies who have very tight-knit USERRA laws that say if a person has active duty time, you cannot punish them. You can't fire them for missing no days. You really can't be in the way of them drilling. You cannot make a military person use their personal time. The caveat to that is something that I didn't know. Not every civilian job or private sector job has the same type of USERRA laws.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So they can alter that.
Yeah. So like, for example, I worked for nonprofit sector.
Mm-hmm.
And while my nonprofit sector didn't have like any legitimate USERRA laws in place, what that means for me is if I felt discriminated against for my military duty, I could get a representative to represent me. And if I had to sue, take it there or whatever. I never had to take it there personally because my jobs have always been as flexible as they could. But a nonprofit that I worked for, I managed the office of 4 people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My director, the secretary, myself, and then like the maintenance guy, because we built for disabled members.
Oh, wow.
So
That's dope.
Imagine how hard it is for them to do what they needed to do when I'm not there for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? And it's a nonprofit. So they really didn't have the funding to like pay me without me using my leave. So a lot of times I would just take the L. I just wouldn't get paid from them for those 2 weeks. And that's not the end of the world. It wasn't the end of the world for me. But there are people who still need their benefits and still need their pay. Now, bigger companies who can afford it, like Amazon, I'm in medical logistics, so like a lot of medical facilities. With Amazon, I got 3 years. I got 3 calendar years worth of what they call military leave. Very, very similar to, I guess, the FMLA process.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So the process to take military leave was very similar to that process. Amazon also was the company that they offset my pay.
Oh,
so
shit.
So what happens in the reserves is you might have a lot of people who are managers and supervisors and directors on the outside, but could be like a staff or a tech on the inside. So
that's
you're making
what? Yeah, translate.
Oh,
that.
sorry. Like anybody that's like an E4 to an E6. You know what I mean? Like just that demographic. Like you know. So the government might be paying you less than your civilian job. So what Amazon says is, if your military service is paying you less than we are, we'll pay the difference.
What?
Research your state's USERRA laws, because a lot of people, USERRA is also goes into like financial stuff. So like if you're deployed and you have loans and credit cards, USERRA laws say that they won't charge you interest while you're deployed, stuff like that.
What? I did not know that. That's a whole gem.
Yep. Okay, gems. One more. So in the state of Arizona, my registration, the year I deployed, that whole calendar year, the year before deployment and a year after deployment, I got a discount on my car registration. So my car registration in the state of Arizona for an SUV was about $150 a year.
Mhm.
And when I had my deployment orders, I only paid $2.
Get out of here.
Oh,
$2?
I'm the queen. Listen, I'm the queen of benefits and discounts now. Okay.
Hey, yo, man, make sure y'all take notes on that. Check out y'all USERRAs, yo.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
I feel bad. Like I had my computer field logged in. But yeah, if anybody got any questions or want me follow-up information, I'm not an expert, but Life Size Candy on Instagram, I can either like tell you what I know or at least point you in the direction to find these things out. But yeah, USERRA laws. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so other than the USERRA laws, like what else did you find very interesting or maybe shocking from the active duty to the reserve side?
Something shocking, which is like a double-edged sword, is we don't test the PDG. Do y'all call it the PDG in your branch?
What is that?
Professional development. So when what's the process for you to rank up? What do you have to do to rank to get to the next rank?
Oh, I call them, I'm not sure as far as the Army terminology, so I just go back to the Marine Corps. So we just call them PME. Like if you PME complete, professional military education.
Education.
Yeah.
Do you have to test? Do you have to take any tests or anything?
Nah.
Okay.
Physical test, if you want to count that. Physical fitness test.
Okay. So in the Air Force, we have upgrade level testing. So like if you're a technician, you can be a 3 level, a 5 level, a 7 level, and a 9 level. And that is career specific training, right?
Oh.
And you have to test these things and like do a computer-based test, and you have to get a certain score to pass. And to get to certain ranks, you cannot promote. We do PME too, so you have to have PME done.
Okay.
You have to have passed your upgrade training test, and you have to test the PDG, which is, it's called like professional development something, I think, but what it is it's like Air Force professional stuff and like Air Force history. You have to test on that.
Yeah.
So in the Air Force Reserves, you don't have to test on that.
What?
So a lot
Say
of people,
word.
a lot of people in the Air Force struggle from E5 to E6 because that's supposed to be like the hardest test to take. And your score is not a pass-fail score. You rank amongst everybody else that's testing. And then the military, the Air Force will promote a certain percentage of those people, if that makes sense. But in the reserves, you don't have to do that. So that's kind of lit, right? For us. But the caveat to that is because the slots aren't testable and because the slots there's no time limit on slots, like we don't PCS, it could be very hard to rank up because the slot you're trying to get to, somebody can be there till retirement. So for example, check this out. I made E7 2 years ago, right? Which is very early for somebody like me. I've only been in the military for 11 years.
Okay.
So making E7 in 11 years is like really, really fast. However, let's say the base that I'm at, let's say my career field only went up to E7. And let's say I didn't want to move. I'm a Phoenix resident. And what that will mean is I have 9 more years to be in that slot. So any E5s under me would just be stuck at E5 until I moved on or retired.
Or what if they wind up going to another spot?
And we can talk about that, reserve stuff another day, but that's what a lot of people do. A lot of people find special duties, or they find like there are other ways to promote, but that's when you have to finesse it. Like you have to do the extra work. You know what I mean? But if you're just like used to active duty where all I got to do is do my time and grade and do my PME, so when my time is ready, the reserves ain't like that. And that's just the professional side of it, because in the reserves, there's a political side too. And I know that active duty has a political side, But because the reserves processes aren't black and white like active duty's processes, those politics can really get in the way of your movement. Favoritism, all types of stuff.
Favoritism.
Like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like if somebody got a family member, or somebody got a homeboy or something like that, like it's easier to look out for your friends, or it's easier to give the cold shoulder to somebody that you're not really feeling. Like, it's people find ways to do that in active duty, but it's really, really, it's a lot easier to get away with it and actually like have a direct effect on people's careers in the reserves.
Yeah. Can you speak on maybe the misunderstanding of pay? Yeah, misunderstanding of pay. Told you, it's going. I'm a freestyler. Sorry.
Yeah. All I'm gonna really say on that, and the reason why I'm gonna say it this way, is because I started mentoring as God, I'm getting drunk too. As a
cheers to that one.
E6.
Cheers to that one.
I'm an E7. As an E7, I've started mentoring a lot of people who are in their transition. And a lot of them from active duty are really, really shocked at the difference in pay. Now, they pay per rank, just like active duty. But what I want people to understand is that when you're active duty, you are on status 24/7, 365. When you are on the reserves, you are
like salary in the civilian
it's
world,
like
right?
Yes, you're on salary. In the reserves, it's hourly. You are only getting paid when you are on status. And if you are a traditional reservist, which means you only do your drills, you are on status for 24 days a year.
Damn.
I really do talk to a lot of people who are shocked, like, dog, I didn't know the pay was gonna be, think it was gonna be. You know what I mean? So I a lot of people get out of active duty, they join the reserves, they use their GI Bill, assuming that you palace chased from active duty to reserves, or you've done your full commitment and now you have 100% of your GI Bill. A lot of people will join the reserves and go to school, because now you have your BAH and GI Bill benefits that you consider as your income. But if you are not planning on going to school, if you are single and like you don't have a dependent who you can depend on, or like have a job lined up, like your reserve life really has nothing to do with your civilian life. Like, you got to know what you want to do on the civilian side. Yeah. And that's not to say like there are some full-time reserve jobs, but maybe we can segue into that, maybe another discussion.
Okay. Jesus. How long we been on? I remember keeping count.
I should have turned on the timer, because I don't think the app has a timer for us. Well, let me see. I think we started at 5:15. We started at 4:15 my time, and it's only 4:50. So
okay. What is, because I want to go deeper into this one. As far as reserve life, right? What is some maybe like misconceptions as far as like hardships that you realize on the reserve side that like you could probably get away with on the active duty side?
Hardships on the reserve side that I can get away with on the active duty side. Can you rephrase that, or give me like
what I mean by that? I know before we talked about when you have your duty weekends, you got to knock out everything out on the weekend, versus active duty. Hey, your higher leadership, oh, you got a month, you got 2 months to do this. I probably just said it, honestly.
I was gonna say, now that I'm thinking on that, I think that probably is the biggest hurdle. I think that people who are interested in rank struggle in the reserves, because like I said, I feel like active duty definitely has hurdles when it comes to rank. You know, if you are not a good tester, it might be hard. That test might come in between you and your, but I mean, but in the reserves, there are a lot of internal factors and external factors that can get in the way of you promoting. And then I think honestly, that's the biggest hurdle. Like we are expected to have to operate the same way active duty operates, but with the 2 days. Now I'm an E7. I'm a superintendent. I have troops who have troops who have troops. So I'm doing, you know, feedbacks and I'm helping with EPRs. And when I say help, I'm doing a lot because I just have a lot of people who just don't have time to do their technician work and then also do the administrative work. And my biggest challenge is they keep, you know, it's missed time management. Imagine having to do all of your daily tasks, check your emails, go to your medical appointments to do your IMR, do your PT test, or do squadron PT, eat a lunch. Like lunch doesn't exist for me.
Yeah.
Eating
breakfast at the top of the day.
Right. And the only reason why I get to eat breakfast is because I hit up Starbucks on the way to work and eat it in my car.
Yeah.
You know, go to commander's call. You see what I'm saying? And then still have time to mentor troops who like need training or just got a personal thing going on or need some sort of like disciplinary action. That's all. That's still not even my technical work. I still have technical work to do. So I find myself doing my technical work on Saturday, supervising, mentoring, and training on Sunday if I can, and then doing my administrative work like for free throughout the month. Like I have a government, I have a government issued laptop at home and everything.
Oh God.
And I do it because we can talk about that later. Like my drive and ambition, that's just how I am. Like I complain all the time. I complain a lot.
But I'm gonna do it though.
But I'm gonna do it though. So, but there are a lot of people which understandably, if I'm not on status, I'm not working. I'm not working for free. As they should. You know, you shouldn't be working for free. Definitely not on base. Don't never go on base without being on status, because that's where your benefits come into play. If you go somewhere and go to on a military installation and you hurt yourself as a reservist, if you're not on status, you might not get your TRICARE benefits. So people will get judged for that mentality, like, oh, I'm not working for free. But I'm like, no, they shouldn't. They shouldn't. You know, I'm just cuckoo crazy. That's a hurdle. As a reservist, a big misconception or something that hurts my feelings, I guess, is how active duty sees me, especially coming from active duty. You know, I remember hearing people. I remember my supervisors kind of talking smack about the reserve unit that they supported, and I didn't understand it as a E4, you know. And when I deployed for the first time, I could really tell. I deployed on a active duty rotation, which meant my unit was the only reservist in the hospital at the time. All of my leadership was active duty. My commander was active duty, and they really just assumed like that we was gonna be trash. Now, I do understand that there are units who take advantage. There are units who don't have funding to get training. There are units
who speak on that.
There are units who have the means to train and choose not to. Like, I remember a medical unit, like medical in the Air Force reserves got so bad that our functional career chief, this is the person who was in charge of all medical throughout the whole Air Force.
Oh, the big Don.
The at least for like medical, right? The medical big Don. They banned us from training at other bases. So mind you, I work at a fighter wing. Okay, I work on a flight line. My office is in a aircraft hangar. Okay, I don't have a medical warehouse. And I'll explain that later too. That's another hurdle being in the reserves is we don't do our day-to-day function to send me to a hospital so I can keep up to date with my duties. However, people was playing and messing around and taking advantage, like, oh, let's go to Hawaii and like hang out, but not get our training done. There was a group that went to Texas and did not show up to the hospital they were supposed to work at. They like went to Six Flags instead.
What the fuck?
Yo,
that's crazy.
So I do like as a leader, I'm a leader now. Oh my gosh. As a leader, I do understand that there are people who take advantage, but also as a leader, I wish that leaders would understand that instead of disciplining the people who did wrong, they banned the whole Air Force medical from being able to go get training, and it affected a lot of people who really, want to do the job, So that's a hurdle, like those. And then when we finally get the opportunity to go somewhere for active duty to just, oh, they reservists and judge us without even speaking. Or I had a supervisor a couple years ago who fought for us to go to Texas, to go to Lackland. It's a big medical training base in San Antonio. And we showed up to the hospital and their command chief was like, we don't want y'all here.
What?
And I'm just like, I was the E5 I was the E5 at the time, and I was just like, dang, like how dare you? We Uncle Sam flew us to Texas so that you can give us a tour of the hospital and show us how to do our job. And she pretty much was like, I don't want y'all here. And I don't know who pissed her off before, but it wasn't us.
Yeah.
So
my she just like did a web net on all reserves.
So for my active duty people listening, you know what I'm saying? Don't get to know people first. I work with a really good group. Like they in the Air Force times all the time. Like we actually end up all getting coined during our deployment. Like I have a good, hard working group of people. They love what they do. A lot of them do on the outside what they do on the inside. Very passionate bunch. And it sucks that, we have to prove ourselves every time we go somewhere, So.
And I will say for the active duty component, we really can't, or we really got to watch out on what we say to the reserves, because some reserves, their job in the military, they actually do it on the civilian, aka professional side.
Exactly.
So with that being said,
precisely, like don't get it twisted, bro. Listen, I know a E6 who is a nurse, a badass nurse. And the only reason why she's not an officer is because that's not her passion. Like
some people want to do the shit.
She don't exactly, but because she's an E5 in the military, people think she don't know shit on the medical side. And I'm just like, baby, she is a nurse at one of the most prestigious medical facilities in Scottsdale, Arizona. And she will run circles around you and your commander in any position in this place. Like, but we get that a lot. We got E2s and E3s, you know what I'm saying, who are managers administratively, like managers and stuff, on the outside. So the Air Force, AFRAC, Air Force Command is actually having a lot of conversations around that. Like, yes, we got to, because, customs and courtesies are important.
Correct.
But the rank structure is not the way it was back in the day. Back in the day, the demographic was, you turn 18, you join the military. So everybody's age matched their rank.
Correct. Everybody's
education level matched their rank. But now you have people joining the military for the first time in their 30s with college degrees.
Yeah.
And because
don't want to go officer.
Exactly. And because they're an E2 or E3, we're treating them like they're E2 or E3. Like, it's a grown ass man
that could probably fill a billet of an E6 or E7
with a degree. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So with that being said, active duty, no, I'm not mad. I get it, but it does suck that, our job is to support active duty. and I do a lot of work for free. So what I don't like is showing up to an installation with somebody trying to act like I ain't been in for 11 years and I don't know my job and I'm not passionate, because a lot of people think that you chose the reserves because you don't want to be in for real. And that's not true at all.
Yeah. And we need to relax on the active duty side, because a lot of people from E1 to E4, all y'all really did was do a police call and take out the trash and clean the bathroom for a couple years.
I ain't even talking smack. You trying to get.
I mean, I'm just being serious, like, because like where I'm at in life is just like, yo, the education level or whatnot within life, to where it's just like, yo, you have someone that they chose not to join at 18, which is no problem. However, they chose to pursue a career, right? So their career within 5 to 6 years, especially on because the civilian sector does not play. They do not have any leeway, right?
Listen, I had drill.
And
I worked Monday through Friday, got off my civilian job early on Friday, went to the base on Friday night to prep for the weekend, worked 12 hours on Saturday, 12 hours on Sunday, went home, and then went back to work on Monday through Friday. And you got to imagine people who have families and kids to tend to, people who are in school, people who have a demanding civilian job, or people who doing 2 part-time jobs. Like they badass, because it's not it's not always easy. The puzzle pieces don't always fall into place, and for whatever reason, drill weekend always falls on the most fun weekend of the month. I just got a commander. We got a new wing commander. And for the first time in 8 years, he changed the February drill so that we could have Super Bowl weekend off.
What? Just changed it? Oh, I thought that was...
We always, because normally for the most there's 2 popular drill schedules across all the Air Force Reserve Command, and it is the first weekend of the month or the last weekend of the month for like a lot of mobility bases. I think these are like aircraft bases and maintenance people. I don't know why they have a B schedule, but they have a B schedule. Probably for our schedules have to match active duty schedules, whatever. But my UTA usually always runs the first weekend of the month. So yeah, I've been at work on Super Bowl for a long time.
No.
So I'm doing all of the Super Bowl party festivities in 2022. Okay.
Big turn ups.
Yeah.
So you spoke about the whole medical industry and field. So you do that with outside, or you have experience outside of the Air Force in the medical industry?
No, I'm one of those weird people who I did not choose my career. My career chose me. When I was recruited, just going back to the whole recruiter information thing, for the people who in the Air Force who know what open general is, he told me to put down open general as the job that I wanted to go into the Air Force. And sure. I thought that, open general really is a category of just random ass jobs.
Oh, you like, rolling the dice.
Rolling a whole dice. But I wanted to be, at that time, I wanted to be, I don't know, I wanted to be something medical or like dental or something. And he was just like, yeah, if you go open general, you'll get assigned a medical job at basic. I got assigned security forces at basic. Okay.
That's an open contract for, my Marines or probably Army. I don't know. I know Navy understand that.
Open
contract.
I got selected for security forces and I got injured at basic. And instead of kicking me out, they gave me an admin job because my injury was in my ankle. Like I was still mobile, but they just thought I wouldn't be able to pass security forces school, but I could pass medical logistics school because we don't do shit, but no offense, work in a warehouse and be on the computer. Yeah. So I'm a rebel. So everything I did on the outside was like complete opposite of what I did on the inside. Because I was just young and disgruntled. I felt like the government was making all my choices for me. So I was
Which
trying
they
to
do.
so I was trying to maximize my control on the outside. So I have a degree in interpersonal communication. I'm real big customer service, customer success, human resources type of background, office management, stuff like that. So no, I don't do anything medical related on the outside, but the way things are looking and the way these salaries is looking, I'm probably going to take my 11 years of military experience and make that transition because they're getting paid.
Oh yeah. Just give me your VMAT. You be good. Give me
Right?
your VMAT. You be good. The only reason why I was asking because it's just like, well, with you being in the medical industry within the Air Force and this whole COVID situation, do you feel as though that the military is either undercorrecting or overcorrecting the refusal of people not wanting to get COVID? Or just your thoughts on the the mandatory COVID regulation. Do you think it's fair? What?
Okay. Woo, this one. All right. I think that the military is overcorrecting.
I agree.
But I do understand that I do believe that there should be some sort of corrective measure. I think that, taking yourself, like looking at the bigger picture. So I can answer this question because, like I said, I'm not medical in the sense that I'm like a provider. I cannot give any type of like advice or opinions on like the medicine side of the COVID or the effects of the COVID shot. But
Okay.
I do work in medical readiness, which has everything to do with your military health for like being able to be a military member and being able to be deployed. So the COVID shot is one of those things that is necessary for you to fulfill your duty. And this is why, from an administrative point of view, there are countries who are not letting people in and out without the COVID shot. So if we were to deploy to one of those countries, you won't be able to fulfill your duty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From
so you wouldn't even be able to deploy.
Exactly. And so technically, and this is where the administrative fuzziness comes from, because if you are not deployable, then you are not fulfilling your duty as a military member. Contrary to what a lot of people believe, your purpose in the military is to support contingency and deployment operations. And if you can, and it's hard to think that way because the military doesn't operate that way like we used to back in the day. Like, yes, we have a lot of people supporting, or I guess we brought a lot of people back with the whole recent situation. But yes, everything that's happening in the Middle East, we definitely have a large presence in the Middle East now, but we are not shipping people out the way that they used to back in the day. So it's hard for people to think like your sole purpose in the military is to be ready to fight war. It just don't feel like that these days.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have your COVID shot and you need it to go to another country to do what you need to do, like that's me trying to be open-minded as to why I understand. Another reason is my real answer. Does anybody even remember all the shit they shot in us when we went to basic? Did y'all have that? Did y'all have an assembly line of shots, vaccinations? We all went to basic.
Yeah, you had to like roll your sleeves up, then like pull your pants down a little bit.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
the peanut butter shot in your ass cheek.
Yeah, so I'm not trying to make a mockery of anybody who is exercising like their right to choose. However, like you signed a contract with a agency that pretty much, I'm pretty sure if we read that whole contract, that states you will do what you need to do to be deployment ready. Number one. Number two, if they was gonna pump some stuff, because I'm hearing all of the conspiracy theories, and I get it, and I also understand it because it's happened before. The what was it, the Tuskegee Airmen?
They was pumping them with gonorrhea
without them knowing, and I know that that's not the only time that something like that has happened. Yeah. So again, I'm not here to disrespect nobody's views. I'm not here to speculate. I definitely understand a lot of the speculation. And so I feel like if it's something that you don't want to do, then it's your time in the military has come. You know what I'm saying? And that's not, I don't want to sound rude when I say that, but I do. I feel like we know what's up. Like, I didn't ask no questions when I went through basic. I don't even know what they put in me. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Most of us don't. So that's the weird caveat. However, the disciplinary, I don't know, like how familiar are you with the disciplinary situation?
From it was either the military times or the Marine Corps times, I saw that they were saying, like, at this point, you won't be getting benefits. I don't know how true that is, like, as of today, but that was the headline. Like, yeah, if you refuse a shot,
all right,
and you get out, you're refusing benefits.
All right, so y'all didn't hear this from me. All right, and I also, again, I'm not the expert. I am piecing together things that I'm seeing. I have troops who are choosing not to vax, mm-hmm. and I am witnessing them go through this process. And my take on it is, I think that they are doing a roundabout way of getting people administratively discharged. Again, I'm not an expert, but mm-hmm. from what I know, there is honorable discharge, less than honorable discharge, dishonorable discharge, and administrative discharge. Mm-hmm. And there are a few benefits, probably a few retirement benefits, probably. I want to say there are a lot of VA benefits that will be that you will not have access to if you have less than honorable discharge.
Jesus.
So I think what they're so based off what I'm seeing, and I want to say, everybody at their local base, like, this, look, this is the I'm down with the people, but this is like my leadership talking, because I understand it from that level too.
Yeah.
Your local base, they're not pushing these policies. Higher, the higher agencies are. I watched my DOD, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm watching my commander, we're on Zoom calls every day, because every day something is different. They don't like, I think that I feel like somebody said, we got this debt and we want to find a quick way to make a bunch of money. And I'm not saying that COVID is not real. I'm not saying that getting the COVID shot is not safe or whatever. But what I'm saying is somebody decided an easy way to knock out a lot of this cost is to sell these vaccines to government agencies and make it mandatory, blah, 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 blah. And so I don't think that they expected as many people to deny the shot. I think that they expected to scare us and think that everybody was just going to do it. Mm. And so when they started rolling out the shot, they started rolling out the shot, 6 months ago, they did medical people first, then they did dependents, then they did deployers first. Like, the shot was been rolling out for a minute. And now all of a sudden you got to get it by December, or you got to get out. Yeah. Because I thought that they didn't realize, like, damn, so many people still don't got it, So what they're doing is, at least what I'm seeing at my base, if you're choosing to do the double dose, if you did not get your double dose by October, you got a LOR, a letter of reprimand, a write-up for refusal for taking a direct command
Order.
some
Yeah.
some stupid. To me, in my opinion, something stupid. I'm just kind of like, this is how I see it. Or nope, let me finish my first thought. Is it over disciplinary? And I think yes. So I think what they're doing is they're building up a paper trail. They're going to write you up, because if you get so many write-ups and then you get out in that period of time, it's easy for them to justify not a honorable discharge.
Ooh, okay.
So I think that they are like writing people up and trying to find these ways to justify an administrative discharge. And I do think that getting an administrative discharge is going to affect people moving forward. Let's say things change with how the government sees COVID and it's not mandatory next year. What's going to happen to all these people who got forced out?
I mean, I think that's just like with the Marine Corps with the tattoo policy, or just like with the public as far as marijuana. You got so many people that got locked up for less of a gram. What do you do? Yeah.
So the difference, and I will say the difference between getting kicked out the government and like getting and like the state putting you in jail. When the state lets you out of jail, they're not taking care of you.
Yeah.
When the government puts you out, you're getting benefits for life. So I think that's what I don't know why they care or why they're doing it, but that's my take on it.
See, my take on it is just like, yo, if they don't want to get it, kick them out. And it's a contract. It's a contract. Just let it be. It's a gentleman's contract.
I'm with that. But I don't think that they should be. I don't think that people should be disciplined.
I don't think so either.
I think I separate them. Like, so for example, my base, I took what was it, September UTA, everything was fine. My commander was like, maybe around December they might be making this mandatory. We don't know. Then October comes. Mind you, we on military status once a month, so we don't get the day-to-day conversations. It's 1 month is like this. Then come October, it's like, all right, you got to get it now, or something bad might happen. We don't know. So we like, all right. Then come November, it's just like, yeah, if you ain't got it, you're getting kicked out. And I'm just like, whoa. So I agree. I think that if you make your choice to not get vaccinated, but the vaccination is a mandatory requirement, I say separate these people and let them be. But they still did their time.
Give them their benefits.
They still give them their benefits. They still contributed to their time, because you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but all of this administrative stuff and all this paperwork is quite unnecessary, and it's they're really gonna have to like put their foot in their mouths when this shit boils over a year or two from now. They're really gonna be biting themselves when they can't find people to replace these people, because a lot of the US population is not wanting to get vaccinated. So if being vaccinated is going to be a prereq to go to basic, exactly. How are you going to fill these slots yet you just got rid of all these people?
And my thing being on the active duty side, if like your beliefs in COVID is that drastic, then like, we'll just say for somebody that's single, that's in the barracks, that means that I'm pretty sure you have somebody that's vaccinated and you have somebody that's unvaccinated in the same room. Come on now, you really don't say that you care, but these measures that you're doing are showing that you really don't care.
I mean,
just let them go. Give them 6 months to ETS. Like, okay, you had 3 years left on your contract. Now you got 6 because you refuse to leave. Because I still want you to be able to have time to, properly get out and plan or whatnot. Just get them out. Keep their benefits. It is what it is. Like, we're moving. You know how big companies be. We're moving in another direction. just let it be that way.
Yeah. So it's very strange. I don't think we'll understand
why the threats. That's my thing. The threats are unnecessary. I volunteered to be in this organization. Now, if I'm choosing not to follow your processes and plans, I have every right to do that at that point.
I feel bad. You listen, I just feel like there were just a lot of mistakes made when it comes to talking to the public about COVID, because the way I see
misinformation.
A lot of misinformation and a lot of stuff that don't make sense, because it's like at the end of the day, like I said, the military, Candice, I get it. If it's mandatory in uniform, it's mandatory in uniform. I've been in for 11 years. I know how that shit shakes. But civilian, Candice, is just kind of like, if the masks work and the 6 feet work, then what's the issue? My empathy and sympathy goes to healthcare workers.
Oh yeah.
You know, these people sacrifice their health back when it first started, when we didn't know how to work, blind and unprotected, without PPE, without physical PPE, and without COVID. You know what I'm saying? And it was stressful for them, and they were at risk to their families. I heard a lot of healthcare workers couldn't even go home after treating certain patients because they were high risk for COVID. So, like, you know what I'm saying?
That's shit we don't hear about.
That's the shit we don't hear about. And they heard, I might steal that, by the way. That was good. I might steal that. To go from that to now they're losing their jobs. I saw a meme that circulated a couple weeks ago that said, you know, they to unemployed in a matter of a couple of weeks. And I just think that's ridiculous. But that also makes me wonder too, why are so many healthcare workers against getting the COVID vaccination? Like, wow. I know that there has always been a population of people who prefer not to do vaccines, unvaccinated. And we never knew because it was never our business. We never had to prove or show if we was nice vax card to school in order to go to public school. But I'm like, workers not wanting to get the vaccine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, at a high rate too. Like, you talk about New York. We know New York has a large population, and they're like, nah, we good. But that also like the nerd in me just is like just thinking as far as like on an operational level, it just goes in the aspect like, where are those people about to go work now? Because they have a skill set that's needed. However, their interaction with humans isn't there.
Like, look, you about to open up Pandora's box, dog, because
I should see my YouTube searches.
the shift is going to maybe not a lot of individuals. You know, I think that a lot of people these days are creative, and they have their selves set up in a way that this might not affect them as much as the person next to them. But this country as a whole, and how I don't think that people are realizing the after effects of these decisions today and what they're going to look like, you know, 5-10 years from now, that they are really shaping. Because you're right, that is, healthcare work is a public service that is needed, and it's pushing people to this entrepreneurship, this production and content based work. And I'm not against production, you know, I'm not against creating content, but there's only so much you can sell when half the population is not making money. There's only so much you can produce. There's only so much you can create. Like right now, the fact that, you know, there are content creators who are making thousands a week is the rumor, you know, and teachers don't have support to get supplies in their classrooms.
That's always been the thing.
It's like, and it's like, what do we do? And you're right. It's always been like that. Entertainers, don't get me wrong. I love entertainment. Entertainment is fun.
Because it's entertaining.
It's entertaining. So at me, everybody at me, because I will always stand behind this statement. Entertainers don't contribute to society in a way that can keep us, that can maintain our existence. You know what I'm saying? Like,
explain that.
Like teachers and doctors. You know, Beyonce can't do shit for you if you need a heart transplant. No offense. You know what I mean? Like I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. Like service workers. You know what I mean? Like we love the luxuries in life. Like our society, we love the luxuries. We love what money can buy us, but we don't respect the people who are providing those services.
Repeat that one more time. It went out. Facility. That was a bar. Repeat that.
Damn, what did I say? God dang it. We love the luxuries in life, but we don't respect the people who provide. So what I'm trying to get at is, you know, we expect to walk into a facility and it be spotless. We expect to go to a public place, a public restroom, and the toilets are clean and it don't smell like shit, and the paper towel holder is filled all the time, and you know, but we show like most people, the average person shows minimum respect to the and now you have this new wave of entrepreneurs who are even, don't be a janitor, you know, live your best life. Don't, you know, you a waitress, I'm like, well, waitresses are important. I love eating out. I absolutely love when I go to a restaurant and I get waited on and people bring my food to me and people fill up my water cup. I need waitresses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we can't, you know, that's what I mean by this whole producing. Everybody wants to preach about producing something or making money off content. And it's just like, realistically, what is our society going to look like if everybody was their own CEO and everybody did content on TikTok?
Yeah,
if we had,
I was gonna say, like, but don't you think like some form of entertainment kind of helps as far as like the emotional side of us, of like with music, right? You said Beyonce. Yeah.
Entertainment is art. That's why I'm like, don't take what I'm saying to there's a happy medium. It's okay. Entertainment is needed. You know what I mean? But I think that it's a lot to be said about why we put so much. There's a lot to be said about a country who we have, what is it? The NFL, the NBA, Hollywood. These are all multi-billion-dollar industries, but multi-billion-dollar industries in our society, and people are still hungry. There's money in this country. You know what I mean?
Big money.
Like teachers, waitresses are still waitresses in a lot of states are still working for tips. In this country should have a livable wage. I'm not saying that, you know, we're responsible for, like, everybody can't be balling is relative, right? Mm-hmm. I get it. I think that there should be some sort of like standard livable wage, a real livable wage,
universal income.
And if you want to, I don't know if I'm gonna take it that far, but I'm saying, like, if you want the mansion on top of the hill and you want to grind to get that. Mm. But if somebody chooses to be a janitor, if somebody chooses to cashier at Walmart, if somebody chooses to work at McDonald's, they should be able to have a livable wage. Rent should not be privatized to the point where people can't find affordable, safe living based off of the wage that they're working. People shouldn't have to leave their inner city and take a train all the way to uptown to work a below living wage job. Not when we have billion-dollar entertainment industries in our country. You know, we throw sports and we throw money at acting and we throw money at music and art. Art is important. It's important for our cultures. It's important for, you know, keeping history, and it makes us feel good. Yes, all of those things, but they don't contribute to the longevity of us maintaining how we live in society, is what I'm trying to say. Like, entertainment is not teaching our children how to do finances. And I'm not talking about artists who choose to use their platform to teach. I'm saying entertainment as a whole. Entertainment is meant to be fun. It's meant to be, you see what I'm saying? It's not meant to raise us. It's not meant to take care of our health. And we can even take it that far, because if anything, I feel like Black entertainment be holding us down. Like, why Black people gotta be endorsing fast food all the time? Like, diabetes,
food, drinking, cigarettes.
All, and again, we could probably, I think we're gonna have a couple of part 2s and part 3s, because we can even put a pin in that, talk about it later. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. You know, like, even military people, no offense, I just don't understand why, you know, people do have to be separated from their families, and people are working 12s. Military people get paid minimum wage for what they do. If you look at people's base pay and take out the BAH and take out the BAS and take out the GI Bill, military.
Do you want to take it there? This could could be our last topic. You want
Yeah,
to go there?
last topic.
Okay,
Like,
let's go there.
Yeah, like, y'all, we military people don't get paid overtime. You know what I'm saying? Military,
How would you say for those that be like, well, you get the benefits of medical, dental, for those that stay in the barracks, you get BAA, you get the food, the government, the child hall,
government assistance in the US is regular, if not like, yes, I utilize my VA benefits. I do, for personal reasons that I'm not ready to talk about right now, maybe later. But yeah. VA care, like the United States profits so much off of privatized businesses. Now, if the government was giving me a voucher to go seek medical care, use, what is it, state healthcare, but state healthcare is not good. It's not good. The DFAC, yeah, we get free food, but how many people eat at their DFAC?
I hate the DFAC. There's somebody on TikTok I want to interview because he's I think he's biased. I mean, he's a cook or whatnot. But he's like, well, the DFAC is good. It's so many changes, but I have a different aspect on it.
Listen, you talking to Greedy McGreedy over here, right? I'ma complain, but I'ma do it. Yeah. I eat the DFAC all day. I don't care about bubble guts. I don't care about nothing. I'm that person. I am eating, right? And it's free. I can justify it. It's free. But for the people who are like, oh, what about the free food? You go buy it. If you happily pay to eat DFAC food, then I'll stop complaining. It's just like public schools. Look at what they feed the children at schools. Yes, there are some cities, there are some districts who are privileged enough to have the money filtering into their schools. There are private schools, like don't get me wrong, every public school is not just shitting over the kids. Yeah. But let's not be naive and let's not act like, the average public school, state funded free lunches, that shit is not tasty or nutritious. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The portions, who are they feeding? Goats? The portions are this big. You can't even go back for seconds. Like, that's what I have to say for people that are like, what about this and what about that? And your BAH should be an incentive. People should not be supplementing their income with BAH. That defeats the purpose of having a benefit, in my opinion. Yeah. The GI Bill. People should not be in this thing. The reason why they give you a BAH during the GI Bill is because the average student that's an adult, like I spent my college years, the average military person, I've spent my college years in the military. So when I go to school, I don't qualify to stay on campus. I think that's one of the reasons why the government implemented the BAH, so that you could be a traditional full-time student but still have a place to fucking live. Yeah. That's not a benefit. That's a you're doing me a favor because you knew you took something away from me. You knew I sacrificed something for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I never knew that.
I'm not saying I'm right. That's just what I think. These are not facts. These are opinions. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I have to say now. Now, when you go to public, you screenshotted a meme that started this whole podcast, and it was a company, a CEO, who gifted all of her employees with $10,000 and a vacation package that they could use whenever they wanted. That's
okay. We going there. We go. The notes is back out. We going there.
That's a benefit. Yeah. You know what I mean? When I worked for Carvana periodically, Carvana had pet sitting services. Like, Carvana gave me money to send my cat to a freaking cat daycare to get pampered. That's a benefit. Who the hell is giving people, you see what I'm saying? Like, and they can afford, like, I used to think stuff like that was weird because I'm so used to the military not giving us nothing. Yeah. But I'm like, pet insurance, pet daycare money, what? But these are billion-dollar companies. You can afford to do things like that for your employees.
And the crazy part, the military is getting directly funded through the government.
but my point. But that's my point. But that goes to show taxpayer money, right? Oh, taxpayer money, taxpayer money. First off, we can already have a whole discussion about a lot of the people who get tax credits, the people who make the money, the people who can contribute to the tax money bucket. They don't pay taxes.
Oh yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So to say that our roads and our highways, our libraries, our schools, our state, like people, I think the real problem with our generation is we don't know what government agencies are. You see what I'm saying? Like
some of them be so hidden until you actually get into the organization. Well, then that's when you start to know.
Yeah, I don't even know that if they're hidden or if it's one of those situations where it doesn't affect you until it does. You see what I'm saying?
I agree with that.
So I had a I remember I had a friend like around when Trump was getting this, and she had the public workers, and so she needed to use the library. She needed to go print something from the library, and the library was closed. And she was just, oh my God. And I'm like, yes, the public library is a city public place. And those people, if they're not getting it was when the government shut down. That's what it was. It was like all the
every September.
Jobs. Remember that? Yeah. So,
September, like, October, it's always gonna happen. Yeah,
people don't realize WIC, unemployment, public schools, public libraries, public parks and recreation.
Yeah.
If you want to go to the Grand Canyon, who do you think is going outside picking up all the beer bottles and fucking cigarette butts that people throw out the windows? Who do you the construction workers that are working on the roads and working on the potholes and stuff like that, the people who are cleaning out the sewer so the shit don't back up into our toilets, who do you think does that? You see what I'm saying? And the fact that we fund those jobs from taxpayer money, and taxpayers, a lot of the biggest portion of the tax money, those people get tax credits and don't have to pay taxes, but yet and still we have these private organizations. Like, I just don't understand. Oh, I don't like sports, and y'all gonna find this out later, so I might as well just say it out loud. There was is renegotiating his $5.8 million contract, and as he should. I don't know what his situation is. I'm not talking bad on his situation, but what I'm getting at is, what a privilege to make $5.8 in a couple 5-6 years, 4. Anyway, what a privilege to negotiate, to like not go to practice because you want to negotiate your $5.8 million contract, and that's one player. Like, the NBA is one organization, multi-billion-dollar organization, and we can't afford to keep the library open during a government shutdown. Why the fuck does the government have to shut down when you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Player, it's the game. I don't.
It's not the player, it's the game.
I don't have a problem with Beyonce. I love Beyonce, but yeah, but why? Like, why? And we can't even supply. We can't keep drug facilities open for people who are struggling with addiction. We can't afford, like, people who need counseling. We don't have any, like, government.
Ooh, it stopped there. It stopped, y'all. It stopped. I may have to end the podcast. Hold on. Yeah, yo. That was a dope ass podcast with Candice. Oh, hold up. Yo, the Illuminati got us. They wound up kicking her off. They wound up, because she was spitting that facts. She was going in too hard, but we're gonna wrap it up. We definitely gonna do a part 2, part 3 to this. Hopefully y'all listen. I appreciate all those that listen. Give them your social media where they can find you if you want them to find you.
Yeah. Sorry. See,
I'll give you a little bit because she out here eating the pineapples off the sangria with the grill. Mamma mia.
I think the best place to find me is on Instagram, and it's life size candy with the I, CANDI. Yeah, let me know what you think. If you got any questions, you know what I'm saying, tell Chris to have me back on, like, whatever.
Yeah, that'd definitely be dope. And like, look, for all my military personnel, anybody that's trying to join the military, it's all about, like I said earlier in the intro, it's all about information and knowledge. So if you do have aspirations of going to the Air Force Reserve, is dangling, because for some people, I feel as though that go active duty, Like they only know active duty and that's it. They may not know the other side. And then some people that want to consider the reserve side, they may not know everything to that side. So all it is reaching out, getting that information and going. So we definitely will have you back on. I do appreciate you coming on and supporting the movement, unpredictable thoughts, and keeping that same energy. And
Yeah.
you retiring at 20? This is my last question. 20 or 24 retirement?
You still retire at 20.
No, I'm saying, are you going to retire at 20 or are you going to do longer?
No. If I shoot for retirement, first of all, I'm thinking about commissioning. So
Okay.
So if I make a commission, then that will, add some mandatory time to my commitment. But the reserves pension is a little bit different than the active duty pension. We can talk about that next time. So
Jesus,
a lot of reservists end up doing a little bit more like calendar years. But mind you, it's not like 365 days. People are doing 30, 40, 100 days a year. So you have to do more calendar years to get those points. Mm-hmm. To retire at 20 years.
Okay, so it's point based. So we gotta do a point part two.
Yep. So think about it. If you do 20 years active duty, I don't know what I will do some research on that for our next podcast. So I think that's important information. But just imagine like 1 point per day. So if you're active duty, you do 365 times 20.
Oh, I never knew it was broken down like that.
Mm-hmm. That's what gets you to your 20-year retirement. So as a reservist, it's the same thing. Now it's going to take me more than 20 years to get to that number because I'm not working 365 days a year.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, supporting the movement, unpredictable thoughts.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we've been supposed to do this, but life happens. Make sure y'all check us out on all streaming platforms, YouTube, Apple, Podbean, and just check on unpredictablethoughtstoo.com for all you keep that same energy merchandise. It's your boy Troubles in the building, and it's Candice. Peace.